Hi, this is Aspasia Sterling. I'm a media and communication critic with a soft spot for irony and a taste for the absurdities of public speech. The ancients called it rhetoric. Today, we just call it spin, spectacle, and sound bites. I like to pull back the curtain on how messages are crafted, why they stick or backfire, and what that says about power. Think of this as a quick detour through the funhouse mirror where politics and media meet. Buckle up.
I'm Aspasia, spins my thing. Spectacles, sound bites, and media bling.
So here's the setup. You're in rural Iowa, GPS says dead end, and usually that means one of two things. You're lost, or you're about to be murdered in a cornfield. But in this case, you've actually arrived at history, or at least the ruins of it. Buxton, Iowa, a town where, over 100 years ago, Black miners and their families lived in relative equality with European immigrants. People remembered it as an oasis of racial harmony. Today, it's weeds, bricks, and a picnic shelter that looks like it should come with a tetanus shot. That's progress for you. Now, here's where rhetoric comes in. Scholars talk about public memory, the way societies remember or forget the past. Memory isn't just history, it's selective, it's curated, it's rhetorical. Buxton is a perfect example. The state of Iowa remembers Buxton on one tiny historical marker that sums up thousands of lives and an entire experiment in racial justice with 3 words: little racial friction. That's it. That's the headline. It's like reviewing The Godfather and saying some Italians had disagreements. The ruins, on the other hand, whisper a much bigger story, that racial equality wasn't just a dream. It was lived. So memory theory helps us see how the ruins, the marker, and the stories all compete to define what Buxton means. But there's another angle, counterpublic rhetoric. That's the idea that marginalized groups form their own spaces, their own communities, outside the dominant public sphere. Buxton was one of those spaces. It was a Black utopia in the middle of a segregated, white, rural state. For a time, African Americans built schools, ran businesses, and lived with dignity in a way the broader society tried to deny them. In this sense, Buxton wasn't just a coal town, it was a counterpublic, an alternative vision of what America could be. And when we call it a lost utopia, we're really asking what happens to counterpublics when the economic engine stops turning? Do they get folded into the larger story or erased from it? And that's the tension. On the one hand, Buxton is remembered nostalgically. Everybody lived happy. On the other hand, it's dismissed as a fluke of coal company pragmatism. Memory studies show us how fragile and contested the legacy is. Counterpublic rhetoric reminds us that Buxton mattered because it challenged the norms of its time, creating a world where Black life thrived in the middle of Jim Crow America. Put together, these theories tell us something simple but profound. Buxton proves that other worlds are possible, but also that we have to fight to keep them in memory because the dominant culture is always eager to bury the ruins. So next time someone says racial harmony is impossible in America, you can point to Buxton, Iowa. Then again, you'll have to explain it was a century ago, built on coal mining, and now exists mostly as a weed patch. But hey, that's why it's a counterpublic. It's there, but you've got to look for it, even if GPS insists it's a dead end.
Spins my thing. Spectacles, sound bites, and media bling. Pulling back curtains, irony's queen. Where truth wears glitter and lies stay clean. Ha, I'm Aspasia, spins my thing.